The timeless echo of small kindnesses. It usually starts with something so small, you barely notice it. A hand steadying a stranger's grocery bag as it tumbles from the cart. A door held open just long enough. A smile tossed casually into the air, like a paper airplane made of sunlight. No medals are awarded for these things. There are no front-page headlines proclaiming, "Local hero returns shopping cart in pouring rain." There are no statues erected for neighbors who remember birthdays or shovel driveways unasked. But maybe, just maybe, the truest glories in this life aren't announced at all. Maybe they slip by on soft feet, nestling themselves into hearts so quietly, so completely, that decades later, people still smile when they think of you. We think it's the grand gestures that change the world. The multi-million-dollar donations, the rooftop declarations of undying love, the sweeping speeches that thunder through the air like drumbeats. But the soul knows otherwise. The soul knows that love is usually folded into the smallest moments, tucked carefully between errands and obligations. It's the casserole you deliver at midnight when you hear someone's lights are still on and their heart is heavy. It's the library book returned just in time because you remembered someone else was waiting for it. It's the way you laugh, without a hint of mockery, at your friend's terrible, wonderful jokes. It's remembering that Margaret likes tulips, not roses. That Joe's left ankle always aches before a storm. That Mrs. Patel down the street needs someone to reach the top shelf for her, and that she'll reward you with a story about her late husband that makes you laugh so hard you nearly drop the box of bran cereal. These are not headlines. But they are lifelines. Picture it, years from now, when the loudness of this world has finally faded into memory, someone will sit quietly by a window, holding a cup of coffee between weathered hands. They'll squint out into the golden light and, for reasons they can't entirely explain, they'll think of you. Not because you won a prize. Not because you had thousands of followers. Not because you built an empire. But because when they needed it most, without ceremony, without applause, you were kind. You tied the loose end of their day into a bow. You handed them the smallest token of love, a second chance, a moment of laughter, a feeling that maybe, just maybe, the world wasn't such a lonely place after all. They'll remember that you noticed them. That you made them feel less invisible. That you made life lighter for a moment. And it will be enough to make them smile into their coffee, maybe even laugh aloud, startling the cat. The thing about kindness is, it ages like fine wine. It becomes sweeter, sharper, more powerful as time passes. The neighbor you wave to every morning without fail? One day, they'll tell someone else about the kind soul who always made me feel seen, the friend you once stayed up all night listening to, pretending you weren't exhausted, laughing at their heartbreak when it cracked like bad pottery. Years later, they'll say, "I don't remember exactly what they said. But I remember they stayed. And that's what saved me." Even the stranger you helped cross the busy intersection without rushing them, clutching their groceries and dignity all at once, might someday whisper your kindness into a prayer of gratitude they never thought they'd speak. And you? You'll have long since forgotten the specifics. Because real kindness never waits around for applause. It just plants itself deep in the soil of another's story, and blooms in its own time. So here's the secret, the quiet treasure hidden in plain sight: you don't have to perform miracles. You don't have to rescue kingdoms or write symphonies or lead revolutions. Simply find within yourself acts of kindness that will be celebrated and remembered not because they were grand, but because they were given. Find the time to show up for people when it's inconvenient. Find the courage to forgive when it's easier to walk away. Find the humor to laugh with someone instead of at them. Find the softness to love someone even when they don't yet love themselves. Friends, family, neighbors, none of them will remember the price of your car or the cut of your suit. But they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember your willingness to love when love seemed like a lost art, and somewhere, in the quiet chambers of their hearts, your simplest, smallest kindnesses will echo, bright and everlasting. Because in the end, it wasn't about how much you did. It was about how well you loved. And oh, how they will remember. Would you also like a second, slightly more humorous alternate version, one that's still heartfelt but sprinkles in even more warmth and chuckles along the way? It could give you a fun option depending on the final vibe you're aiming for. Thank you for helping us spread love.